On this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock.
Move over AI overviews. AI mode is coming to the SERPs, according to Sundar Pachai and Lex Friedman.
And Microsoft Advertising gets its priorities straight regarding PMAX and standard shopping campaigns.
All on today's show.
Welcome, you are listening to Marketing O'Clock. Just stay tuned. Digital marketing news, but let's get specific. Digital ads, SEO and analytics, social media and more. Pretty much everything that'll make your website perform. With new shows every Monday. We give you the news with sass and puns and definitely hot takes. Thank you for tuning in. You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. Settle in, sit back, keep it locked.
Hey there, I'm Christine Zernheld.
AKA Shep, and I'm Greg Finn.
And it is officially Marketing O'Clock.
Here on June 16th, 2025. And it's just Shep and I right now. We had Jess on a moment ago. We had Julia. We're running through some technical difficulties because Jess, Shep, myself, and Maggie are headed out to SMX. Shep and Jess are there right now. Some of the internet is not as fast as we may like. It's choppy. You're cutting out. I don't think this is going to work. How did the flights go? How's Boston, Shep?
It was nice. Nobody sat next to me on the flight. Rested my eyes for a couple minutes because the internet didn't work.
That's a theme throughout today.
Yeah.
But I'm actually getting up and flying out at like 5 a.m. I'm going to be there on Barry Schwartz-esque, like 30 hours max. But I'll be arriving tomorrow, which is Thursday of last week. So let's get to it here. Let's get through the main news. What do you have first here, Shep?
Okay, first up in the main news this week, Microsoft Advertising released its monthly blog post with all the updates that we are getting in the platform. Couple of big things to note here. First of all, they have a new reports editor. So this says you can choose from a wide variety of metrics, apply filters, add breakdowns like device or audience, and easily save or schedule reports for future use. So that should be fun to play around with. And then another big announcement for this is regarding if you have PMAX with a shopping feed and then a standard shopping campaign running at the same time. So this blog post says, instead of Performance Max automatically being prioritized over standard shopping, normal auction dynamics will now apply and the campaign with the highest ad rank will serve just like with other campaign types. So sounds like it's going to mirror how that works in Google Ads, which is usually easier for everyone when things work the same way. I also feel like PMAX can be pretty unpredictable in Microsoft still. So I'd say this is a welcome change.
Yeah, I feel like anytime you rely on imports, you sort of have to make the rules apply for both. Like that, you need to use the Google rules if people are like seeing success on Google and maybe your Performance Max is at a higher TROAS or something that's sort of like a catch-all and you're really trying to prioritize shopping on Google Ads. If you take that and upload it to Microsoft, obviously, previous to this change, PMAX would still supersede your shopping. So now it's on par with Google, which makes sense to me. Next up in the news, do you want this one?
Sure.
All right, you got this one. You go.
Full disclosure, Jess Budd had prepared this story, but who better to have to leave the episode at the last minute because she takes the best notes. So here we go. Google is adding loyalty program support to organization structured data. Currently, Merchant Center, says Jess, lets you specify this pricing, but if you don't use Merchant Center, you can now use organization structured data combined with loyalty benefits under product structured data to communicate this pricing to Google search. So Google has an example of what this will look like, which we'll have up on the screen. And there's an illustration of membership pricing showing up in the Google search results, which seems pretty cool. This almost looks like Wayfair with the 3 purple dots. So yes, I'm a Wayfair member. Yeah.
You know, my kids are like obsessed about the Wayborhood.
Do they like Kelly Brand Clarkson?
Is she in the Wayborhood?
Yeah.
Oh, no. The other thing they're obsessed with is Dave from the Ozempic commercial. They just like sing the Ozempic jingle. They're like, Ozempic. And they're like, do you know what Dave ordered when he went to the movie theater? And I'm like, I don't know, popcorn? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all they do is like watch a little bit of Sports Center in the morning to like see scores. And why do we have those ads everywhere? Like,
yeah.
If I hear one more story about Dave.
Ozempic.
Yeah. And then like the GLP-1 inhibitors. I'm like, guys, stop talking about this.
Well, if there's a loyalty program for your GLP-1 meds, you could see the pricing in Google search. So
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. You
Yeah.
can see like the membership cost and then what it is if you are a member. It's very nice.
very nice. What else is going on?
So something that I think is nice, I don't know if everybody else is going to think in the same along the same lines as me, is Google will be rolling AI mode out into the SERPs, according to Sundar Pichai in an interview with Lex Friedman. I talked about this on its I'm not like a big Lex. Are you a Lex Friedman gal? Shep?
I'm not familiar with her work.
Oh, he's just like a super smart guy. But he's just so monotone. I find like I should listen to him falling asleep. I have problems falling asleep. I should listen to Lex Friedman.
Yeah.
Anyway, talked to Sundar Pichai. There was a lot of information. Oh, Barry Schwartz over on Search Engine Roundtable has all the search stuff, and it's like directly linked within the video if you want to check everything out. I would say Lex was very detailed in his interviewing. Like he knew what he was talking about, where I feel like a lot of times people aren't like familiar with the ins and outs of how things are working. So he's talking about the fact like there are some ads that are now showing in AI overviews, but there are no ads in AI mode, and was asking about some of that. Sundar said that he believes AI will help determine the best way to integrate ads in a classy, non-annoying manner.
Okay.
So maybe through contextual explanations. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like the AI overviews are the definition of annoying. It's like, how are you going to make something not annoying when it's you see like
I
these
know.
giant things that tell you it's not 2025 and you feel like you're losing your mind.
I love the word annoying. It's very self-conscious.
Also, Lex was talking about the query fan out. That's been a hot topic in the SEO space where you're sort of like multiple searches and you're able to assemble answers based off of various searches, and talking about just like the depth and of the questions that are being asked compared to previously. And then the big bombshell news, which everybody should know at this point, Liz Reed came out at Google I/O and said, AI mode is the future of search. When Google says something like this, I mean, I said it a billion times after I/O. It's the future of search. Google will be AI mode in like 3 years. That will be the default, is AI mode. They got to figure out how to monetize it. They have to make it better. They have to refine some things, but it's the future of search, according to Liz Reed from Google. And Sundar said that it will currently remain in a separate tab, but these successful features will migrate to the main search page in AI overviews, whatever that means. But it's just, you heard it here first. AI mode will be like the AI overviews in search. And at some point, once people like AI mode more, AI mode will be Google search, right? Anything I got wrong there?
No, not surprising. Search with a capital S.
And now for this week's
Cool tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners and is really, really cool.
And this week's cool tool comes from detailed.com, and it is public company commentary on SEO and AI in 2025. And if you want to see all the public statements from earnings calls, just general commentary from people at these large corporations, you can see it. And there is a way you can filter as well. You can see positive, neutral, or negative sentiment with this as well. I think it's just a nice look if you did want to make a case to a client or something like that, or somebody's, you're looking to just see the lay of the land and what people are concerned about or what they're positive about. If somebody's concerned about something and you have an answer to that, that's great. Maybe that's something you can use in your arsenal to sell. So I just appreciate Detailed taking the time to go out and put this together. Glenn Alsop, I believe. And yeah, thank you, Glenn.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a #fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions. We don't influence. You make the call.
Okay, and am I doing Take of the Week? This is so exciting for me.
Yeah, we switched it up. You got a hot one too.
This week's take of the week is from the one and only Sam Tomlinson. I think we're going to see him this weekend at Digital Sam I Am on X.
Wait, have you seen anybody yet?
Yes, I saw Jeremy Krantz and I saw Morty Oberstein wearing Barry Schwartz's lanyard trying to trick people.
Did you hear about Morty last night?
No.
He went to a Red Sox game and like fainted or something.
He
and
fainted?
Put in a wheelchair and like wheeled to the stayed in hospital. I felt bad because I was making fun of him because he looked so terrible in the morning.
Maybe that's why he's cosplaying as Barry.
It's like, I don't want people to know.
Okay, so Sam said pot kettle Google, and this is an example or a screenshot of Google's policy regarding harassing, abusive, or untrustworthy behavior. It says advertisers should get as great service from a third-party partner as they would when working directly with Google. Eye roll. So don't use harassing, abusive, or untrustworthy tactics with potential or existing customers. Examples: repeatedly cold calling potential customers or putting undue pressure on an advertiser to sign up or stay with your agency. Sam says, in other news, I have received 39 calls from Google Ads in the last 10 days.
His poor phone. You need a battery pack, Sam. We got to send you a Cypress Norris battery pack. We got one of those.
Yeah, love. Google always follows their own guidelines, so you love to see it.
Now it's time for this week's Pew Pew Lightning Round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
First up in the paid universe this week, let's start with a disclosure. Julia was supposed to take half these stories, but we're going to see how far we can get here. So first of all, Google adds AI Max for search campaigns. It has now been announced in the Help Center that in early Q3, these will be available to all advertisers. And this is optimized in the text on the page with an S here, so that must mean around the globe because it's not how we'd spell it here in America. So that's exciting news. Q3 could mean a lot of things, though.
To give you more exciting news,
What?
the one account we've been begging for AI Max,
Yeah.
it's got it.
Did we get an email?
I found it. I put it in our Slack channel.
Oh, wow.
So we have AI Max in Q2. We didn't have to wait till early Q3.
How exciting. It seems like a good day to like check in on your betas because we got search terms in one account for
Search
Max
terms,
too.
we have asset level reporting and AI Max. So you can check out and see if you have AI Max now if you go to your settings and a search campaign.
What a time to be alive. And now Jenny's going to be here at SMX. Everyone's going to be obsessed with her. It's great.
Yeah.
Next up here, Anthony Higman saw AI Max in his accounts. He had a different response than us. He said, nice. This garbage trash thing is showing up in our accounts now. LOL. Trash. So
I'm
he's not as
excited, Higman.
Okay, next up here, somebody, I don't remember who, found an article about daily spending limits in Google Ads account. So this determines the amount your Google Ads account can spend per day on all campaigns. So it says, what can I expect? When a daily spending limit is applied to your account, you'll get in-account notifications about the new limit. The spending limit will take precedence over any campaign budgets you have set. These will not impact performance, though, of your ads. Your ads will just start... Don't worry, they'll just stop running. So this is going to basically, it seems like, happen to people who have not completed advertiser verification, or it says if your behavior or your ad content was labeled as potentially suspicious, or your ad account is being investigated for suspicious activity. So make sure you're completing the verification, not doing anything shady, and hopefully your ads won't get shut down.
Yeah, and it seems like it's happening with new accounts.
Okay.
Right. So that or unverified. We had somebody come to us that was unverified. Things weren't spending. We got them verified, and then off they went.
Oh, good. It would be nice if they'd tell you.
Yeah. Seriously. Just be like, hey, we're not spending because you need to do the verification.
Yeah. Next up from Search Engine Land, Google can now pause individual ad accounts that are linked to manager accounts for violating the third-party policy. So to resume serving ads, advertisers must unlink their account from the violating manager account. This means your ad account could be penalized by an association, even if your individual account hasn't directly violated the policy. So make sure you trust your agency, it sounds like. Meta is launching Opportunity Score for all advertisers. It has 2 key elements, a score and a set of recommendations. sounds familiar. Next up here, Google is now showing ads at the bottom of the local map pack. And again, this was spotted by Anthony Higman with this aesthetically pleasing red arrow in his screenshot. They are normally at the top, but Higman spotted them showing up at the bottom. And he says, I can't tell if he likes this. Yep, the SERPs be changing. LOL. Happy Monday.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I have a question, though, about Meta. Do you think the recommendations are going to be good?
No.
I almost think that they might be good.
Really?
Well, you guys talked about it last week, or you gals talked about it last week, rather, where Zuck was saying, hey, maybe we can just do everything, right? You don't even need anybody to control it. You just tell us how much to spend and we'll spend it for you. I feel like this is like a step towards that direction. And I feel like that's something that Google initially got very, very wrong with their recommendation system, to the point where now they're like releasing a GML, this AI agent for Google Ads that can tell you everything and fix everything, where most people are like, the boy who cried wolf, where we've seen this already. We know what happens with your recommendations. My hope would be that maybe Meta's recommendations are actually like proof of concept that there could be better automation. Because if they put these out there and it messes up your, if it's like, hey, add search partners, and it messes up your performance like Google has done in the past, I feel like that's going to lose trust when they're trying to go towards this automated, route.
Yeah. I mean, you would hope so, but I just feel like these ad platforms are always
Never.
surprising us, doing what we would hope they wouldn't do. Okay. This one is a little confusing to me. So Google Ads in search campaigns has something new called URL exclusions and inclusions. So it says exclusions can prevent your ad from showing to people who search for or browse content specified below. So is the thought that you would use your own website, and then if somebody was searching for you even without your brand name, they'd be excluded later? I guess.
I believe this is for AI Max.
Yeah.
Right? Like
seems...
where with AI Max you could do, it's almost like final URLs for, PMAX, or not final URLs, for URL expansion with PMAX. So in this case, if you had AI Max on, you might say only go to these pages in the section, exclude everything, and only include this so that you can guide people.
I don't think it's about the URL on your site. URL exclusions can prevent your ad from showing to people who search for or browse content specified below. So to me, I feel like you'd remove your own domain.
I feel like you remove your pages, right? That's like part of what AI Max is. We can ask Ginny.
Yeah.
And report
tomorrow. Okay, so we'll get back to you on
bring
that
a
one.
mic and we'll accost Ginny and say,
Yeah, but if it is the way I think, that would be crazy. So you could only target people who have searched for your competitor's domain, maybe. We'll have to see.
I think it's for AI Max because it's like DSA
I
essentially.
think it's for AI Max, but I don't think it has anything to do with your landing page. I think it has to do with targeting the people who see your ads based on sites they've been to.
I disagree, but we'll see who's right.
Okay. We'll see. Next up, YouTube is testing 30-second non-skippable ads in YouTube auctions. This was previously reserved for premium placements via YouTube reservation buys and is now being rolled out as a beta test. So probably very expensive. Oh, we love Taboola. And they are rolling out Deeper Dive, their generative AI search engine for publishing partners, starting with Gannett, USA Today, and The Independent. So Taboola ads always make me smile. Can't wait to see those.
Your pronunciation of Gannett makes me smile.
Oh, Gannett. I'm in Boston. They pronounce things differently. Next up, Anthony Higman. Gonna read this one live and hope I don't swear. With Google's new BS test, where they now pretty much exclusively serving ads in the middle of the search results, is resulting in huge impressions increases, but not click increases. I tried my best with that, Anthony. How about we don't change everything every 10 minutes? These changes have drastic effects on user behavior. Please just give us a week where you don't make a drastic change to the SERP, ... F ***K.
I feel like he's censoring himself for you now.
I appreciate it, Anthony. I'm busy and I don't have time to censor your tweets before I read them live on the show. Darcy Burke has an update for us. He says cost and cost per conversion data in PMAX assets, ? This is new, isn't it? I feel like we only could see low, good, best. Then they added conversions. This is new to me, Darcy. That slipped under the radar for me. And I'm not live. What a day to be alive.
Reporting. AI Max.
Fantastic.
Whatever the exclusions are, let's go.
That's
search terms in PMAX. I feel like they unloaded right before SMX.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. Ginny's going to have like the Marvinettes following her around. Like doing all of her bidding, all the favors she needs.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's happening in organic?
Okay. We're going to let Chuck leave for a minute. I'm going to come back just because we're on limited time. And let's hop on over to me alone doing organic. Okay, I am back here in the dark of the night. Shep will be back on a little bit later, but I am going to deliver you the organic news that you can use. Starting off, there's big news from the Apple conference as there will be visual intelligence, Apple Visual Intelligence with iOS 26. And really, this is sort of like Google's search or circle to search feature out there where you can take either a screenshot, like grab a certain part of it and be like, what is this? And there's also an ask element where you can ask ChatGPT questions about what you're looking at. So kind of like a multimodal experience. Barry Schwartz has everything you need to know about search over on seroundtable.com. I feel like Apple is just like way behind the times. And it's almost like it's the Steve Buscemi meme where he's got the skateboard and he's like, hello, fellow kids. It's like Google's had this for such a long time, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's positive. I just don't think Apple's going anywhere. And honestly, I don't even know if it's because of the phones themselves. I think if you gave everybody a truth serum, it's like, why do you have an Apple phone? I think they'd be like, because of iMessage or whatever it is, where you have the blue message box. So I feel like they have like such a competitive advantage because of this that they can like take their time and have this like image search that is probably way behind, Google's circle to search, but coming soon. And the ask is kind of cool, where you can pull up ChatGPT. All right. By way of Glenn Gabe, there is a big, I don't know if it's a shakeup happening, but there are buyouts happening within Google where they're offering buyouts for people within the search and ads unit. Technically, it's called the knowledge and information or K&I unit. It houses search, ads, and commerce divisions. So this came out Tuesday of last week. And if you recall, they had like 12,000 layoffs back in 2023. These are not layoffs. This is a package that people can accept. There was a very nice email written by Nick Fox, who's the leader there. And he said, I want to be very clear. If you're excited about your work, energized by the opportunity ahead and performing well, I really, really, ! Hope you don't take this. We have ambitious plans and tons to get done. On the other hand, this VEP, or Voluntary Exit Program, offers a supportive exit path for those of you who don't feel aligned with our strategy. Don't feel energized by your work or are having difficulty meeting the expectations of your role. Another note is that if you are within a 50-mile radius of a Google office, they're mandating that you come in, I believe it's 3 days a week. So it's going to be non-remote, but a hybrid work schedule. And I'd assume that will probably have more people take a VEP or voluntary exit program. But a lot of times what we see is these buyouts are the precursor to layoffs. And hopefully that's not the case. But I just feel like the ads team and the shopping team, the commerce team at least, are like the best they've ever been at Google, to be honest. And we made an award here at Marketing Clock, the most pro Google marketer, and it's like a joke. And we give it to the people that are so anti-Google. And I've like won it as a joke for like 3 years running. And then I have to tell it the way I see it. And I just feel like ads are great. I really, really, really hope that this doesn't impact the progress they're making on commerce and the progress they're making on ads. I feel like they're not honestly making a ton of progress on search. Like the biggest changes these days are AI overviews and AI mode, which probably don't need a lot of people. So my hope, at least as, you know, I'm an advertiser, is that it's not cutting commerce and not cutting ads, but we'll see. All right. Another piece of news here. This is very interesting to me. ChatGPT is mostly sourcing Wikipedia for their answers. Google AI overviews mostly source Reddit. Could you have two more opposite things than that? Like Reddit and Wikipedia? Like Wikipedia, if you ever go in and try to make a change, you'll probably just immediately get banned. And Reddit, you can say whatever you want. You can say glue your cheese to your pizza and, hey, eat rocks and stuff like that. Not only that, from the Google AI overview side, number one was Reddit. Number two is YouTube, which makes sense because Google loves sending traffic to themselves. Number three was Quora, which makes sense. It's again on that discussion side of things. Number four is LinkedIn. Number five is Gartner. Number six, NerdWallet. Number seven is Forbes. And number eight is Wikipedia. My, how the times have changed. Do you remember when we were all sitting around talking about Google being buddy-buddy with Wikipedia and Wikipedia showing up for everything under the sun? They're in eighth. Behind Gartner. Behind NerdWallet. Behind Forbes. Google AI is quoting Forbes more than Wikipedia. And to be fair, these are AI overviews. And we know they suck. Like, we know they suck. So, very, very interesting information from Profound. Danny Goodwin has a great write-up over on Search Engine Land. And the ChatGPT side, just to put it into context, the number one on Google was Reddit. Number two is YouTube, about 19%. Reddit's 21%. On the ChatGPT side, 47.9% of the top site of the citations are Wikipedia. And then it goes to Reddit, Forbes, G2, TechRadar, NerdWallet, a bunch, Business Insider, which is like, whew. New York Post, Toxagon, which I've never even heard of. So it just seems to be skewing way more towards Wikipedia. And if I were to make a GPT, I'd skew towards Wikipedia over Reddit, LinkedIn, and NerdWallet like Google has. Check it out, though. Danny Goodwin, great article over on Search Engine Land. Okay, from Lily Ray over on LinkedIn, she says, I've posted a few times about how I think it's problematic that Google AI Mode is embedding links to Google business profiles for many businesses instead of links to their actual websites. We get it. Of course, Google wants to keep its users in its ecosystem, and embedding Google business profiles is a way for users to get summarized information about the businesses, plus images, reviews, etc., without leaving AI Mode. I've found countless examples where AI Mode is mentioning a company, then embedding a Google business profile that either points to the wrong location or uses a default business image that shows a street view of someone's house or a random abandoned building. Yes, business owners can and should try to influence this, but Google often decides what image it thinks is the best default. Shout out to the urinal talk last week. That was me talking. I'm going to get back to Lily right now. She says, this can and will cause many headaches for businesses hoping to be recommended in AI mode. But I just found something even more problematic with how Google's AI mode cites businesses. It can also choose the wrong Google business profile for the companies it recommends in the response. Below are two examples where AI mode cited the wrong Google business profile when it recommended to insurance agencies. In one case, it recommended Travelers as a great insurance company, only to link to the GBP for Brooklyn Travel Express. I'm going to end Lily there, and I'm going to talk. I see so many GBPs or Google business profiles in AI mode. Your Google business profile is going to be so critical for any type of organic crumbs that you are going to get down the road. And Lily's not wrong on this. I mean, she's probably never wrong. There is no better time to lean in, find those customers that are avid fans, put signage up, just be a great business. AI mode is over leveraged at the moment on GBPs. And I think this will be the case, at least short term. I assume long term. Google wants to be the source for reviews. They don't want to send people to Yelp. And I don't think AI mode is perfect. I do think it's good. But on local searches in AI mode, it's hard. It's hard to find something without a GBP in there. So take heed. Local folks, take heed. All right, from Glenn Gabe, right on that take heed front, he's talking about Google's demotion within pirated material. And he put out a tweet. This is why Glenn is just the best. He put out a tweet in a pirate voice, I would say. I don't know if this is the case. I feel like Glenn may have used some sort of GPT on this pirate voice. Let us know, Glenn. But Glenn said, Google's pirate algorithm be hoisting the anchor, moving from high to significant in the sheer bounty o removals. Them DCMA takedowns be raining like cannonballs in a stormy sea. Basically, Barry wrote it up, has a comparison of the two changes. At one point, it said if you have a high volume of basically pirated material DCMA requests, it could be a problem. Now it says significant volume. So that's really the only change there. And my favorite pirate joke is, what's a pirate's favorite letter? And you think about it. Say it out loud. And I'm guessing you probably said R. And the answer is R. No, it be the C. All right. For anybody that's still here, Google Discover is building on its latest redesign with article previews over headlines from, I believe this is 9 to 5 Google here. And instead of just pulling in the headline of an article or even a subhead, it has a whole bunch of AI generated text, and it looks like maybe some information from the article or a video. I cannot tell you how much I hate this. The whole point of Discover is just to find things and send people to interesting content. The unpoint of Discover is to try to get every bit of information in there. No, people don't want just AI summary garbage. People want to go find interesting content and learn about what somebody's reviewing. In this case, it was a Galaxy Watch 8 Classic that had a new design. If anybody at Google in their K&I department, if you're left over there, listen to me right now. You need to send people to content. You need to surface great reviews, and you cannot be that lazy or that greedy that you keep them on Discover. The whole point, the literal name of what it is Discover. Discover new content. Discover new reviews. Get people off of Discover. That means you did good. You do not want to keep people on Discover. I hate this. Hate. Maybe some people over there that, thought this thing up should take that little package that they got offered. All right, we've got more information on at least the traffic side of AI and generative AI traffic, we'll call it. ChatGPT is leading the way, but Google is rising, according to new SimilarWeb data. ChatGPT had dropped from 87.5% of all the traffic that is sourced from generative AI search engines, elements, GEOs, whatever you want to call them. And it dropped from 85.9 to 77.6 3 months ago. And now it's sort of stabilized and is sending 79% of the traffic. So Google is making steady gains. The traffic share coming out from these generative AI sources on the Google side jumped from 5.4% up to 8%. And DeepSeek had a great quarter with 8% of the traffic 3 months ago. But as we all know with DeepSeek, it's sort of trailed off a little bit and now has dropped to 5.3%, but still a big percentage there. Grok is at 2%, and Perplexity and Claude have only seen marginal traffic of 1 to 2%. Of traffic, there is a report from Datos that 90% of AI search traffic is coming from the desktop. So mobile dominates web traffic, according to Danny Goodwin over at Search Engine Land, but 90% of the search referrals are coming from desktop. Or sorry, this is Bright Edge data, but there's also some Datos research in there. So Bright Edge, Datos, tomato. So a lot of these mobile questions may be more conversational answers that people are just kind of looking for, I guess, those quick answers for. Google is the only AI engine that is sending more mobile than desktop referrals. Google has a 53% of their traffic is generated from mobile devices and 44% are desktop. I'm guessing the rest are tablets. And yeah, pretty interesting. Everything else, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Bing, and Gemini itself, they're all 90 plus is desktop. And then lastly, in a who could have thunk it segment here, Anthropic's, who runs Cloud, Anthropic's AI generated blog has died an early death. It's just been a week after TechCrunch had profiled the experiment of running a blog written entirely by machines. It's already over. It's already over. So Anthropic wound down the blog and redirected the address to its homepage, and everything's disappeared. All the posts gone. It's just like, who is going to read what machines are talking about? I know down the road, like that's going to be the case. We're all going to be sitting around in VR goggles and like some sort of beanbag, and we're going to have like an IV hooked up to ourselves, and we're just going to be blobs. And at that point, good. Hook me up to a computer. Right now, I want to read what humans have to say. And honestly, I don't want to be in a beanbag. So who knows? But sayonara, RIP, and peace to the AI blog. And after that depressing organic news, let's get on to social. It's just me at the helm here, so buckle up, folks. First up in social this week, Threads is still a thing. Something I've learned. And as far as downloads go, it's the 8th most downloaded app for May between both Apple and Google Play. And it's a second place in social apps in the iOS App Store. I just don't get it. I'm not a Threads person. I'm trying Blue Sky. Maybe I'll go back to Threads seeing this news. I just find that there's like no engagement on Blue Sky. There's like a little bit of engagement on Twitter X. I don't know. Threads just... When Adam Mosseri came out in his hipster glasses and expensive clothing and was talking about the fact that we can't talk about important things or whatever, I just figured it was dead. And I try, maybe I'll go back at Greg Finn on Threads, but I take it back. I'm not using Threads. Forget Threads. And they've hit 350 million daily active users, which is more than half of the 600 million the X is reporting. All right, maybe I'll go back to Threads. TBD. I'll report back next week. So I think their biggest thing is like, if you're a marketer, go get your handle. You don't have to go post on it, but if for some reason it does take off, I know there's a lot going on in the news with Elon at the moment. Get the handle, secure it. Maybe there's some sort of thing down the road that's fruitful. But honestly, at the end of the day, you should have these things anyway. Try and test and see what works. See where there's value, right? Not everything has value. Threads might have incredible value for you and no value for somebody else. And that's fine. That's part of being a marketer, is seeing like what is working and what isn't. Maybe you're somebody that's like super visual. Maybe you're like a poly marketer, which we're going to talk about in a moment, where things could go really well on Threads. But maybe you're B2B and it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what your company. Let me know and I'll tell you if you should be on Threads or not. Okay, and trial reels have been successful. It was announced 6 months ago. It's that feature that helps you kind of like take a reel and test it out. It will not show up in your feed. It will only go to a certain number of people, and you can kind of like sample if maybe this video is worth putting out to the world. I actually like this. I love experimentation. I love trying new things. I love testing. If you have a huge IG following and you want to trial a reel before you put it out there to the world that they can follow up on, this is great. So love it. And according to Meta, with that, 40% of creators started posting reels more often, and of those who did, 80% saw an increase in reels reach from non-followers. So whatever. Okay, and there are some new features from the Gram, and they help you gauge performance. Basically, there's kind of like milestone celebrations that you can put out there and be like, oh, I'm Barry Schwartz. I got 100,000 followers on YouTube, or 100,000 whatever's on YouTube. These things looks like it kind of caters to like the reel format, and you could be like, oh, thanks to everybody who helped make this happen. There's also weekly and monthly recaps of your KPIs showing views from non-followers, and more. So I think this is nice if you're a super vain person and you're trying to share this, or if you're just trying to give back to the community. I don't think we have enough to get a celebration, but if you are, I applaud you, and maybe you should look at some of these milestones. All right, and from X, they have a new partnership with Polymarket as its official prediction market partner. Disclaimer, I love Polymarket, and I used to love sports betting. And Polymarket tries to take like everything in the world and turn it into like sports betting and put odds on everything. And so with this collaboration, Polymarket will combine all the predictions that they have based on X posts along with insights from Grok. I know Grok like scored the lowest and everything. Grok is getting pretty good. Like anytime Higman tweets now, I'm just like, yo, tell me what this means, because it's written like it was done in a mental ward, you know? And if somebody cites something and it's like, I have no context on this, you can be like, Grog, what is this person talking about? And I feel like it does a good job. So anyway, you can see like, hey, is there going to be a recession in the US in 2025? And Polymarket, looking at all this data from X and Grok, apparently can say there's a 26% chance, and let's hope on the 74% side of things. And from TikTok, it's growing in popularity according to themselves over across the pond in the UK. It now has 30 million UK users, making it the largest European community of users. And there are 1.5 million British businesses on the platform. So I would go towards TikTok instead of Threads. But doing good over across the pond. And the current, I don't want to get limited here. The current person in the United States who has the highest authority is saying that he will grant TikTok another extension. So we saw that message where TikTok was shut down for maybe 24 hours tops. And then there's a message saying thank you to that person for bringing TikTok back. And apparently there's going to be, we're like at the time it was 8 days away. We're probably like 4 days away from another ban, and it was like a 75-day extension. So apparently it's going to be extended a little bit further. So that's it. That's social. I feel like social is kind of fun. And I'm going to kick it back to myself and to Shep to get back to the show.
And that brings us to our real life segment, straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for Working Hard or Hardly Working, where we talk about what's going on in our IRL work, good, bad, or otherwise.
All right, and Shep is back with us again to do Working Hard or Hardly Working. What do you have this week, Shep?
Working hard for me this week is when I'm like struggling in a lead gen account. I'm so glad that I have HubSpot or Salesforce and I can like see the leads that are coming in before having to wait for them to go into the platform, because sometimes I'm just like on the edge of my seat. So I have an account that's been kind of having a rough week, and it's been really great to just go into HubSpot and check the report and see whether or not we're having a good day. What about you, Greg?
For me, honestly, it's Google that's working hard. I sound like a shell of the human that I once was 2 years ago, where everything that came out of my mouth was negative. I love the fact that AI Max is getting rolled out. I love the fact that there's asset level reporting coming, and also search terms and PMax. I feel like we just have a lot of things that may actually not make Google a ton of money, but will build that goodwill and have people spend more money with Google Ads because it's better, not because they have to. And I think that's just, these three things that we had this week are just amazing. So thank you, Google.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI.
ICYMI people.
This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked, but you shouldn't have.
ICYMI people, Google confirmed an issue from Monday, May 9th, where some people were saying their ads were not displaying on search and other placements. This was never actually confirmed, but this was a serving issue or a reporting issue. But Google's statement about it said, the problem with Google Ads has been resolved. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank you for your patience and continued support. Like, what a weird thing. Continued support. We're just paying you because you're like a monopoly and we have to, but whatever. So if you're seeing anything weird in your account on Monday, this could be why, or you could be suspended because your agency is weird and you're linked to their manager account, or it could be because you're not a verified advertiser, but who's to say?
Who knows? I also like how I was super positive and you brought us like right back, crashing right back down to reality.
Yeah.
Now it's time for our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed that we simply cannot cover it in its entirety on today's show.
This week's must-read marketing article of the week comes from Sarah Steeman. Is Sarah at SNX? Do you know?
I haven't seen her yet.
Okay.
I heard she had a dance competition.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't miss those. It's like if you put somebody that does dance, you cannot miss dance.
Mm-hmm.
It takes precedence over everything else in people's lives,
I'm glad you understand.
including soccer. It's a weird one for me because one's like a team sport when you learn to dance.
It's still a team sport. You're up there
Right,
shaking it with your girls.
But couldn't you just like watch a video of what you do and then practice it?
Greg, if somebody misses the dance competition, it's
No,
gonna
no,
throw
no,
off
not
the
the
whole
competition.
formation.
I'm talking about the practice. I'm talking about practice.
We're talking about practice, man. It's funny to me, too.
They need to
Okay.
practice to be prepared.
But couldn't you just watch it and be like, this is what I need to do?
No.
You couldn't do that.
You need
'Cause
to make sure everyone is like in sync with the timing.
Gotcha.
Sometimes the breaths are choreographed.
Well, you know what I'll say is in sync with the timing is Sarah's article, because she talks about Google Ads AI tools, how they can help fix creative bottlenecks and streamline asset creation. She talks about some of the creative fatigue that AI can fix with some of Google's new tools, the plan for scalable visual content. Also has a bunch of industry reactions to Google Ads AI innovations. One thing I loved is she actually had a chart, like an actual chart, not a graph, where she talked about where all of the new AI creative tools live. So if you want to see where everything Google has that can impact your creative, this article is worth it alone for this chart. There's a quick guide in there. And then kind of looking ahead and looking at the future of AI and creative from Google. So I think it's a great look, and there might be something in there that you missed or didn't know about that Sarah can inform you on, and then you will be dancing in your seat. So thank you, Sarah.
All right, that does it for today's show.
It is now officially not Marketing O'Clock.
Thanks for listening,
We miss you already.
and we can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join.